Well, hey everybody, how are we doing today? Today we are going to be taking some notes over pain and the nervous system's development. All right. Your essential question for today is kind of abstract, but you can get the information from the presentation, and you can figure it out. So here it is. Why is pain felt superficially just below the skin when damage to the stomach from an ulcer has occurred? So here's an example of a lady holding her stomach, but holding her stomach area. So why is it that pain is felt not really deep inside, but closer to the skin? All right, so we're looking at the localization of pain. So what does that mean? Localization means pain when it gets narrowed down to where the source is. Okay, localization means right locally around what the stimulus for causing the pain. All right. Superficial somatic pain arises from skin areas. So somatic refers to muscles. Deep somatic pain arises from muscles, joints, tendons, and fascia. Remember, fascia is the covering of your muscles, that connective tissue. Visceral pain, this is your organs, arises from receptors in your visceral organs, such as your intestines, your stomach, your lungs, and so on. Localized damage or cutting of the intestines causes no pain whatsoever. So that's interesting, isn't it? Inside your intestines, they could be cut, they could be, have all kinds of damage going on inside of there, and you would not feel any pain. All right. Now, diffuse visceral stimulation can be severe, which is a distension of a bile duct from a gallstone or distension from a ureter from a kidney stone as well. This kind of pain would be huge. If you've ever known anybody who's experienced kidney stones or gallstones, they are in misery until that stone pushes through. Next thing, phantom limb sensations do occur when somebody has to have a limb amputated or something cut off because of circulation issues. What happens with these is that in the cortex of your brain, the cells and neurons are still receiving a message. Okay, and that's why we call those phantom pains, because those limbs aren't there anymore. They've been cut off. All right, so now referred pain. Referred pain refers to pain that isn't happening in that specific area, but it is felt in that region. Okay, and we can see these pictures up here. This is showing like if there is damage in your lung and diaphragm area, you're going to feel that around your neck, around the left side back of your neck. Okay, also on the left front of your neck. Liver and gallbladder, you're going to feel more toward the back, upper right shoulder area. Stomach pain, sometimes you'll feel that right smack dab in the middle of your back between your shoulder blades. Heart generally is felt either right in the middle of the neck there, or right in the chest, or down the left arm. Gallbladder can be felt here in the upper right quadrant of your abdomen. Kidneys can be felt around the entire kidney area, lower back, also in the down your thighs and hips area, and also in the front. Kidney pain can be felt. And you can look at these other ones where this is. This is just to give you an idea what is this referred pain. Okay, so referred pain is visceral pain. It's felt just deep to the skin overlying the stimulated organ or in a surface area far from the organ. So referred pain could, like we see here, it could be happening just above where that organ is or near the skin, or it could be happening someplace completely different in the body. Now, why could that be? I don't know. Here's an example of a possibility of that answer. The skin area and the organ are served by the same segment of the spinal cord. Oh, you remember, your brain is connected to your spinal cord, and your spinal cord has those peripheral nerves that come off of it. That's what is going to all your organs and things. So an example of this is a heart attack is felt in the skin along the left arm, since both are supplied by the spinal cord in the segment of the T1 to T5 region. And we'll learn a little bit more about what that means, but you remember from your vertebra were labeled as T in different numbers, T1 and so on, okay? Now, pain relief. We all really like to have our pain relief, especially if we've got a headache or if we've had an injury or something like that. Unfortunately, a lot of people use these inappropriately and end up being addicted, especially to this one down here at the bottom, morphine. Aspirin and ibuprofen block the formation of prostaglandins that stimulate nociceptors. Okay, so these prostaglandins are released to stimulate those pain receptors. So what aspirin and ibuprofen do is they go in there and block that so that we do not register the pain anymore, or not as much. All right, and sometimes if our pain is really, really bad, the aspirin or ibuprofen may reduce the pain, but it really doesn't make it go away. Okay, Novocaine, these are the shots that you get at the dentist office. Novocaine blocks the conduction of the nerve impulses along pain fibers. Okay, so it just completely cuts off the impulse or the action potential as it's traveling through the nerves. Morphine, what morphine does is it lessens the perception of pain in the brain. So one of the reasons why morphine is so addictive is because it registers or it affects directly in your brain tissue, all right? So it kind of lessens the perception of pain. That's why so many people, so many addicts get hooked on it, because even when they're experiencing emotional pain, they want the high that the morphine gives them. That gives them a perception that things are not as bad as they would be. Okay, and then when their body becomes chemically dependent upon it, it's just a bad deal all the way around. All right, next thing we're going to talk about is the development of the nervous system, the anatomy of the nervous system. Okay, so the nervous system, your brain, spinal cord, and all the nerves begins in the 3rd week after conception. Okay, the ectoderm forms this thickening, okay, which is called the neural plate. Okay, this is an example of an embryo. The plate folds inward to form a neural groove. Here we've got the neural groove. All right, and the edges fold to join to form a neural tube. Now, neural crest tissue then forms, and it breaks down eventually as it continues to develop to make the spinal and cranial nerves, okay, the dorsal root and cranial nerve ganglia, and the adrenal gland medulla. All right, the layers, the layers of the neural tube form the marginal layer, which forms white matter. Remember what white matter is. It's myelinated. The layers also form the mantle layer that forms the gray matter. And the epidermal layer forms the linings of the cavities within the nervous system. Okay, so the neural tube, come up here, as it joins together form that neural tube, the different layers of the neural tube form different things. Okay, marginal is white matter, mantle, gray matter, epidermal is the linings. All right, neurogenesis in the central nervous system. This would be the generation or the formation of the neurons, okay? Formation of new neurons from stem cells was not thought to occur in humans. For a long time, we thought once the nerve tissue is dead, it's dead. It doesn't regrow anymore. But what was discovered in 1992 is a growth factor was found that stimulates adult mice brain cells to multiply. Okay, and then in 1998, after much research and practice and so on, new neurons were found to form within the adult human hippocampus, which is not an animal. This is a portion of your brain, okay, which is the area important for learning. When we get into our brain notes, we'll talk about that again. Now, there are factors that prevent neurogenesis in your central nervous system. That would be in your brain and spinal cord. It is an inhibition by the neuroglial cells. It's the absence of the growth stimulating factors, the lack of neural lemmas, which is the membranes, and the rapid formation of scar tissue. So whenever damage is occurring or does occur in the brain or spinal cord, these things prevent the regeneration of the neurons. All right, and we're still working on ways in the scientific community to try to figure out how this could be better for brain injuries and spinal cord injuries. All right, well, that concludes your notes for today. Go back and answer that essential question about pain and why is it you feel pain like near your skin when it's an actually deeper organ that has been injured. Okay, I'll see you in class. Bye-bye.